Om Sri Sai Ram. Offering pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, I am trying to explain the meaning of shlokas 65 and 66 of chapter 2 from Bhagavad Gita, namely Sānkhya Yoga. Sai Ram, you may please listen till the end, and if you are pleased, you may please subscribe to this channel by using the given link. Now to begin with Shloka 65. Prasade sarva-duhkhanam hanir asyopajayate prasanna-chetaso hyashu buddhih paryavatishthate. The meaning of this shloka is, by divine grace comes the peace in which all sorrows and the intellect of such a person of tranquil mind soon becomes firmly established in God. Now the commentary goes like this. Grace is like a divine energy that floods into person's personality. By grace, God, who is Sat Chit Ananda, bestows His divine knowledge, divine love, and divine bliss. This entrenches the intellect like the North Star in the love, bliss, and knowledge of God. By God's grace, when we experience the higher state of divine bliss, the agitation of our sensual happiness is extinguished. Once that hankering for material objects ceases, one goes beyond all suffering and the mind becomes tranquil. In that state of internal fulfillment, the intellect becomes firm in its decision that God alone is the source of happiness and is the final goal of the soul. Previously, the intellect was accepting this only on the basis of knowledge as stated in scriptures. But now it gets the experience of perfect peace and divine bliss. This convinces the intellect beyond any shadow of doubt, and it becomes steadily situated in God. Now, Shloka 66 is as follows. Nasti buddhir-ayuktasya na chayuktasya bhavana na cha bhavayatas shantir ashantasya kutas sukham. The meaning of this is, but an undisciplined person who has not controlled the mind and the senses can neither have a resolute intellect nor steady contemplation on God. For one who never unites the mind with God, there is no peace. And how can one who lacks peace be happy? Now the commentary is as follows. The verse strengthens the conclusion of the previous verse by stating the reverse and negating it. Previously, Sri Krishna said, no God and no peace. In this verse he says, no God, no peace. A person who has not learned to discipline the mind and senses can neither meditate upon God nor experience His divine bliss. Without the higher taste, it becomes impossible to renounce the lower taste, and such person keeps hankering for material happiness, like the bee finds it impossible to renounce the nectar of the flower. Now the sloka. Ratri gamishyati bhavishyati suprabhatam bhasyanudveshanti hasishyati pankajashriha evam vichintayati koshagate dvirefe. This is from Sukti Sudhakara, verse 56. The popular verse in Sanskrit literature relates a bee story. The bee was sitting on the lotus flower, drinking its nectar. As the sun began setting, the petals of the flower began shutting. But the bee was so attached to enjoying the object of its senses that it refused to fly off. It thought, there is still time for the flower to close. Let me suck some more nectar while I can. In the same way, we can see old age coming as a sure sign of death. But like the bee, we remain engrossed in enjoying the worldly pleasure. In the meantime, it becomes dark and the lotus flower closed, trapping the bee. It thought, never mind, let me remain inside my beloved flower for night. Tomorrow morning, when its petals open again, I will fly away. Now the sloka. Kashtabhedo vipunopi sangrahi kuntito bhavati padma vibhede. Verse 57. A bee has a power to cut through the wood, but look at the attachment to the sense objects, that the bee which can cut through the wood is stuck inside the soft petals of the lotus. In the meantime, an elephant came, broke the lotus from the stem and swallowed it. The bee, along with the lotus, went into the stomach of the elephant. The bee was thinking, my beloved lotus is going somewhere and I am happy along with it. It died shortly thereafter. Similarly, we humans too remain engrossed in the gratification of the senses and do not heed to the message of the saints to engage in devotion to God. Finally, time overtakes us in the form of death. Here Sri Krishna says that those who refuse to discipline the senses and engage in devotion continue to be rocked by the threefold miseries of Maya, material desires, like an itching eczema, and the more we indulge in them, the worse they become. How can we be truly happy in this state of material indulgence? Om Sai Ram.